What's going on, guys? Ryan O'Toole back here again, doing another collaboration and another top 10 list. That's right, a lot of movies have come out, and I have still yet to give you guys my top 10 favorite actors of all time and working today, and I had to bring in somebody to do this collaboration with me, and that is Zach Pope. Zach, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us about your channel.
Hey guys, what's up? Ryan, thank you so much for having me on here, especially for this collaboration. Easily the hardest list I've ever had to make, but over on my channel I do reviews, trailer reactions, same thing as Ryan does as well, and sometimes I do a little video game streams here and there, so it's a ton of fun over here.
Yeah, Zach Pope was on Rotten or Fresh. If you want to go back and check episode 3 out, that was a lot of fun. But this is our first one-on-one collaboration, and just like Zach said, this is definitely the hardest list I've ever had to do. I don't know about you, Zach. I've had to switch out so many people after seeing new movies, throwing in new actors. This was just incredibly difficult to do.
Yeah, no, I agree. I was thinking, okay, they were in this movie this year, and then this movie this year. This movie sucked. I got to switch him out, and it was hard. It was hard, but I'm very happy with the list I've made.
Yeah, I'm happy with the list I've made too. So without further ado, guys, let's get started. Let's start off with the honorable mentions first. Zach, since you're the visitor, why don't you give us your honorable mentions first?
Oh, yeah, for sure. So I actually have quite a few honorable mentions, and most of these were actually in my top 10 at one point. So I'll just go down the list. The Rock, I mean, you got to have The Rock in there. Viagra right there to whatever franchise you throw him into. Andrew Garfield, Michael Fassbender would have been in there if it wasn't for the Snowman. Chiwetel Ejiofor, Jack Nicholson, Daniel Day-Lewis, Joaquin Phoenix, Johnny Depp. I just really like Johnny Depp's wild, zany stuff, but I don't know, some of his movies kind of disappoint me too, but that's why he's not in there. And then Christoph Waltz as well. Christoph Waltz was this close to being in there, but I switched him out because of one other actor, which we'll get to later.
All right, awesome. Those are fantastic honorable mentions. Now, I have 6 honorable mentions, and I'll just get right to them. First up, I have Michael Keaton. Fantastic actor, just couldn't make my top 10 list. You had Daniel Day-Lewis. I have him also in my honorable mentions. Also, J.K. Simmons, Jack Nicholson, Tom Hardy, and Miles Teller. Since because I saw Only the Brave, he's now in my honorable mentions. Let's get started with the top 10 list. So, Zach, what's your number 10?
So, my number 10 is going to be a little out there, and it's actually Jonah Hill. Jonah Hill for the past few years have been really surprising me with these dramatic roles he's been taking on, and also infusing comedy into these dramatic roles. Whichever you say, Moneyball or Wolf of Wall Street, I've always been so hyped for whatever role he does. Plus, I mean, if you go back to Superbad, I absolutely love his comedy routes as well. And just Jonah Hill, anything he's been doing, I have to get my hands on. And that's how most of my list is that if it's one of these actors on my list, it's one of those movies that if they're in a movie, I don't care what it's about, I have to go see it. I don't even care about the critical reception at that point. I just want to check it out for myself and form my own opinion. And Jonah Hill is especially one of those actors. I love seeing what he's doing. He's actually doing a Netflix series right now, which I'm really anticipating. He's doing it with Cary Fukunaga, the guy who did True Detective, which overall, just Jonah Hill has been shockingly me every single role he's been doing the last couple of years, especially War Dogs from last year. Awesome movie if you guys didn't check it out. Honestly, probably my favorite performance he's been in.
Yeah, Jonah Hill's a fantastic actor. I couldn't put him on my list, but kind of regretting it now. But anyway, my number 10 is a very famous actor that he should get more recognition after his performance in War for the Planet of the Apes. That is Andy Serkis. He's my number 10. Apes together strong. Yeah, what more needs to be said about Andy Serkis? The man is the god of motion capture performance, starting with Caesar, then Gollum, then King Kong, then so many other roles. Andy Serkis is 100% a committed actor. He expresses a lot of emotion when he is given a motion capture performance that no other actor, in my opinion, can accomplish. And Andy Serkis, I'm really looking forward to seeing his directorial debut with Breathe with Andrew Garfield. That looks like it's going to be an Oscar contender, so I'm looking forward to seeing what Andy Serkis has in the future and with Black Panther next year. So, Andy Serkis, phenomenal actor. He's my number 10.
Dude, I can't believe I missed out on Andy Serkis. I absolutely love Andy Serkis. and just everything he's done, the motion capture where he's done. I'm really interested in his directorial efforts and stuff. So he has Breathe and then the Jungle Book movie next year. I'm just incredibly interested in what he's bringing. And then Black Panther, too. He's playing Ulysses Claw, who in the comics, I used to read the comics, and he was one of my favorite villains from there. So I'm anticipating what he's going to do with that role from when we saw him in Age of Ultron. But you're totally right. I mean, if you have seen any of the Apes movies, he brings such emotion to a monkey. And it's kind of, like, tough to do that. I mean, like, not gonna lie, I've teared up at a couple scenes in those movies. Fantastic actor, though.
Alright, let's get going with number 9. Zach, what's your number 9?
So my number 9 is actually one of the best actors working today. It's Denzel Washington. I absolutely love Denzel Washington. I love everything the guy does. One of my favorite roles he's ever portrayed in is actually a movie called Fallen that stars John Goodman. It's one of his more underrated movies, but I love the portrayal of how he's just this detective and he has to go through supernatural experiences. It's so different, but I absolutely love that. But honestly, a lot of people probably know him for the role of his last year with Fences. And I mean, Fences, I didn't really love the movie, but I thought what he did with that film, directing it and acting, was just outstanding. And then you go back and look at Training Day as well. Training Day, he played pretty much this villain, but you cheered him on and loved his character. Denzel Washington always brings charm, charisma, and energeticness to his roles, and I absolutely love the guy for what he does. I can't wait to see what he does next, especially with the movie he's doing this year with Dan Gilroy, the guy who did Nightcrawler, and I'm just so anticipating it.
Oh, so looking forward to that movie with Dan Gilroy. Yeah, Denzel, again, I'm regretting it. Just the fact I didn't put Denzel in my list is because haven't seen all his filmography, but I've seen Fences, Training Day, Equalizer, all of those classic films that he's been in. But yeah, Denzel's a great pick. I can't blame you there, Zach. Alright, so let's get going to my number 9. My number 9 is a very well-known actor, and he's done so many different roles, different genres, and you guys might be mad at me that he's this low on my list. I have Christian Bale at number 9. Now, I know, Christian Bale... Wow. Christian Bale is so low on my list just because he's been in so many different movies, like American Psycho, obviously Batman and the Dark Knight trilogy. This man is an incredible actor. He brings so much rage and emotion to every character that he plays, especially my favorite performance of his in American Psycho as Patrick Bateman. Just this serial killer, psychopath, but he's charm-witted and funny. And as Batman, he just brings the Caped Crusader perfectly from the comics. And Christian Bale, I always look forward to seeing what movie he does next. And he's just such a committed actor. And I'm kind of regretting now putting him this low on my list. But Christian Bale, he's in my list regardless. He's my number 9.
Hey, you know, Christian Bale is a great actor. He might be on my list a little bit higher. But hey, I'm sure you have fantastic actors up above him that makes sense for why you place him so low.
Yeah, again, incredibly hard. But yeah. Zach, what's your number 8?
Alright, so my number 8 is actually surprising. I have Javier Bardem in here. And I think it's in here because ever since he stepped onto the role of No Country for Old Men, I've been so intrigued with what this guy is going to do next. And then you come to Pirates of the Caribbean this year, which, honestly, I love the Pirates of the Caribbean movie this year just for his performance alone. He played such a menacing, disturbing villain, but you also got his emotional side of why he was so like that. And I think the movie mostly worked because of him, but also going to Mother this year, which I know a lot of people weren't in love with Mother, but I thought the performance he gave in there was also spectacular. He was honestly my favorite part. I thought he was better than Jennifer Lawrence in there, which might be a complication to some people, but I absolutely love Javier Bardem. He's been in Skyfall. He's just a menacing actor, but when he's in these roles, he gives gravitas to his voice, to his performances, to his every reaction he gives. He is literally one of the best actors working today, and I can't wait to see what he does next.
Yeah, fantastic actor. Javier Bardem's incredible. He plays villains extremely well, and sometimes he needs to play more heroes, but I love him more as a villain, to be honest. And No Country for Old Men, I agree, was the first film I saw him in. He was incredible. My number 8, this guy is quickly becoming one of my favorite actors, top 5 favorite actors. After this year with Blade Runner 2049, I have Ryan Gosling in my top 10 list. Ryan Gosling, this man, I have not seen Ryan Gosling give a bad performance yet. That just shows how phenomenal of an actor he is. I mean, starting with Drive, and now all the way up to Blade Runner 2049 with La La Land last year. With The Nice Guys, this guy is just phenomenal. Ryan Gosling, he's committed, he's funny, and he can also lead a movie extremely well. And I'm really looking forward to seeing whatever Ryan Gosling does next, because I'm there opening night.
Alright, so you said Ryan Gosling for your number 8. He's actually my number 7. I love Ryan Gosling. Like you said, the guys never give a bad performance. You look at The Nice Guys, which was my favorite movie of that year. I absolutely loved what he did in there. La La Land, also up there with one of my favorite movies of last year. Absolutely loved what he did in there. And then Blade Runner this year, the dude gave such a stoic performance that I was so floored the whole time in Blade Runner. And even though Harrison Ford wasn't in there as much as I thought it was going to be, I was so encaptured with Ryan Gosling's performance that I literally was following the character and loving every aspect of what he was doing. Then you go and look at Drive, Only God Forgives. It doesn't matter. If the guy's in a bad movie, he will still show up to give a good performance. But honestly, I think my favorite performance he's ever given is The Place Behind the Pines. Very underrated movie if you guys have never seen it. But absolutely, Ryan Gosling is one of the best actors working today. And I can't wait to see the Neil Armstrong movie he's doing next year.
Now, did you say Ryan Gosling was your 7?
Yes, he actually is my number 7. So you can say your 7 now.
My number 7 is another actor from Blade Runner 2049. That is Harrison Ford. Harrison Ford's my number 7. Harrison Ford, I mean, I could talk all day about Harrison Ford. I mean, obviously, Han Solo and Indiana Jones are my 2 favorite performances of his. I've always wanted to be Han Solo when I was a kid, and I also wanted to be Indiana Jones when I was a kid. But a lot of people don't talk about him in Blade Runner, and also Witness, a movie that came out in 1985. He was actually nominated for Best Actor, and I believe he won, I'm not sure. But Harrison Ford, he's a really great actor. He can commit himself 100% to whatever role he plays. And that proves it with Blade Runner 2049 this year. Even though he's a lot older, it doesn't seem like he cares as much. But he really can commit himself to a role. And I honestly think he should get Oscar hype this year, because Harrison Ford is a phenomenal actor and should be recognized more. And also, I forgot the Jack Ryan movies. You got Clear and Present Danger and Patriot Games. He's fantastic in those. And also 42, the Jackie Robinson story with Chadwick Boseman. He was one of the best parts of that film, too. So I love Harrison Ford. He's my number 7.
Hey, no, Harrison Ford's a great thing. He was this close to being in my list. I absolutely love Harrison Ford. I mean, you said it. Han Solo, Indiana Jones. Who never wanted to be those characters? And like you said, Harrison Ford, I want to see him get nominated for Blade Runner this year in Best Supporting Actor, because I think he deserved it. That was one of the best performances I've seen the guy give in years. But like you said, Witness, 42. He's not just known for Indiana Jones. The guy's a fantastic actor in whatever he plays in. And a lot of people kind of see him as this grumpy old man now, but I don't see him as that. I see him as he's still giving good performances. You look at Bruce Willis, who just doesn't give a crap anymore, who's this other grumpy old man, and it's like Harrison Ford is nothing like that. The guy is still pumping out gold, and I can't wait to see what Harrison Ford does next after this year's Blade Runner.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm looking forward to whatever he does next for sure. So, number 6. Zach, what's your number 6?
So my number 6 is one that you said earlier, Christian Bale. Absolutely love the guy. The guy transforms into whatever role you throw him into. You go and look at The Dark Knight. Yeah, The Machinist. You go and look at The Machinist, and then the guy bulks up and goes straight up to Batman. And then in between that, he goes and does American Hustle. The guy literally can lose and gain weight so fast. It's insane. It's not healthy for the man. I know that. You can see it. But he transforms himself into any role. My favorite performance the guy's done is American Psycho as well. He brought such charm to such a killer. I should not be cheering on the guy, but I was cheering him on, laughing my way through the film in such a dark, cynical film that I absolutely love his performance in there. I think the first performance I ever saw him actually in, though, was back in The Dark Knight. That was the first time I actually recognized him. Then I went back and looked at his other filmography, and it's absolutely just, the guy is one of the best Batmans out there. He gave such a great era to it, and he'll always be remembered as the Batman role. But I think American Hustle, and now he's doing Dick Cheney next year. The guy, you can't go wrong with what the guy does.
Yeah, you can't go wrong either. I'm regretting it. I should have put him a little bit higher in the list, but I agree. Christian Bale is one of those actors who can transform like that. Alright, So let's get going to my number 6. My number 6 is a very funny actor. I consider him as one of the greatest comedic relief actors of all time, and that is motherfucker Samuel L. Jackson. I love Samuel L. Jackson. Yeah, Samuel L. Jackson, you gotta put him on the list, because this guy is hilarious. I mean, he can just flat out say motherfucker anytime he wants, and I will just laugh my ass off every time. I mean, I could list off so many movies that Sam Jackson's been in. Obviously Pulp Fiction, obviously Django Unchained, obviously Nick Fury in the MCU, obviously also he was in Goodfellas, obviously Jurassic Park. Like, this man's been in so many movies that I can just watch all day long because it has Samuel L. Jackson in it.
Dude, that's a great thing. Man, I regret putting him in mine. The dude just, the way he emphasizes motherfucker everywhere, he does it better than anyone else. And that's the best thing, because I don't think there's any other actor who can emphasize motherfucker better than he can. And absolutely, I mean, you see that in Hitman's Bodyguard this year, which he was literally, him and Ryan Reynolds' chemistry in there was like some of the best things in that film. But like anything you see him in, he can go into a movie that's horrible, and he will be the best part of it, and he'll be the golden star that is in there. I mean, you said it. Pulp Fiction, fantastic in there. Like, literally probably his best performance, in my opinion. The Django Unchained's probably my favorite he's done, though. Just the way he played that role in Django was just fantastic. And then you said it, Nick Fury. The guy can't do anything wrong. I absolutely love Samuel Jackson. I mean, even Star Wars, him and his Mace Windu, he's badass as Mace Windu. And he's, again, one of the best parts about the prequels. You're totally right. He's the only guy with the purple lightsaber, and he's one of the best guys to say motherfucker.
Yes, very true, motherfucker. Alright, guys, we are in the top 5. Man, this is intense. My hands are sweaty. Zach, what's your number 5?
So my number 5 is a actor who's pretty been new to the scene, and that's Miles Teller. The guy just has, seriously, every film he's in, I have to see it. And it doesn't matter what the critical reception is, I will still go and see it. I was one of those guys that went and saw 21 and Over, and I found that movie enjoyable. But really, his best performance is Whiplash. That was the one performance I think that everyone started paying attention to the guy. I mean, maybe you can look at J.K. Simmons and say he was the best thing, or Damien Chazelle was the main star of it because he directed it. But Miles Teller has slowly become one of the best actors in Hollywood. And I don't care what anyone says about that awkward moment and stuff. That movie, I find he has great chemistry and great energetic lead. But, I mean, go look at Only the Brave that came out last week. That movie was fantastic. And the role he did, he played something different. And really just anything Miles Teller's been in, besides Fantastic Four Stick, that we're not going to talk about that.
Yeah, that movie doesn't exist.
Really just, I can't wait to see what he just does next and next and next. And really, I think my favorite performance the guy's done, though, is Spectacular Now. That was one of the best portrayals of teenage and high school and everything, and has one of the best sex scenes. Yes, I said sex scene, but you'll understand when I say it. It's very realistic. It makes a lot of sense, but Miles Teller really is one of the best actors in Hollywood right now. And whatever the guy does, I won't be surprised when he wins an Oscar, because it's bound to come soon.
It might be soon with Thank You for Your Service, which comes out on Friday. Yeah, Miles Teller's a fantastic actor. After seeing Only the Brave, which, guys, you need to see that movie right now. It is failing at the box office. What the hell, guys? Why do you see The Snowman in Geostorm? See that movie. It is incredible. Miles Teller, he's a fantastic actor. I love the guy.
Yeah, guys, please go support Only the Brave. Really, like, you guys are disappointing me. You guys go see Geostorm, but you guys don't give love to Blade Runner or Only the Brave. Like, come on.
My number 5 was really difficult for me to place this actor here, because this man is an icon and a legend and the actor that I loved the most as a kid. My number 5 is Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks, what more can be said about Tom Hanks that hasn't already been said? The man's a phenomenal actor. He can play any role you give to him and make magic out of it. I mean, starting off with the Toy Story trilogy. I mean, the Toy Story trilogy, those 3 right there are my 3 favorite Pixar movies of all time. Just him as Woody. Just you cared about that character, that toy. And Tom Hanks' voice work is some of the best I've heard in my life. I mean, Tom Hanks, he gives great dramatic performances too, such as The Green Mile, Forrest Gump, iconic classic. So many others that I'm forgetting, Bridge of Spies. Saving Private Ryan. I mean, the guy can do dramas, comedies, whatever you ask him. Biopics, too. Tom Hanks, he's been in so many movies, you gotta put Tom Hanks on the list.
And I don't have him on my list. I wish I did, but I'm glad I'm glad you mentioned him. I was so close. There was multiple times where I had him at number 1, number 3, number 4, and I kept switching him out. Literally, if you look at my paper, it's so scratched out, and I love the dude. Toy Story is literally my childhood. It's my favorite Pixar film. It's one of my favorite films of all time. But I mean, Tom Hanks, like, absolutely. You look at Captain Phillips, Catch Me If You Can, Bridge of Spies, Big. I don't care what you say. Catch Me, like, I'm so floored by how great of an actor Tom Hanks is, and he's literally one of the best actors working today. I think it was hard to place in here just because I wasn't super big on Bridge of Spies, so I think that's might be why. But honestly, come his next performance, it might change and he might throw in here. This list is so interchangeable every single day. Tom Hanks deserves to be on this list, and I'm glad you mentioned him because he deserves to be mentioned.
Zach, what's your number 4?
All right, so my number 4 is an actor who's really gotten a lot of love on TV and slowly started gaining some love on movies. He actually got nominated for an Oscar a couple years ago for Trumbo, and that is Bryan Cranston. I love Bryan Cranston. From Malcolm in the Middle to Breaking Bad and to any other movie he's been doing now, he's one of those actors that whatever he's in, I'm going to check out. And really, I think Breaking Bad was the one thing that really made me love how good of an actor he was. Because I was late on the Breaking Bad train. I was like, really? The dad from Malcolm in the Middle is going to be in a serious drama role? And checking out Breaking Bad totally changed my perspective on him. Any performance he does now, I'm so looking forward to. And even when Trumbo came out, I was slightly hoping he would win for Best Actor that year because I think the guy deserved it. Trumbo was a very underrated film that year, and I was even glad to see it got nominated. But Last Flag's Flying this year, or Last Flag Father Flying, whatever, the new Richard Linklater film that he's being in this year, looks like to be another chance of him winning an Oscar, and I can't wait to check out that film and how he does in that movie.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with Walter White. I mean, Bryan Cranston's a fantastic actor. With me not being that much of a TV guy, I have seen some episodes of Breaking Bad, and Walter White is the man. You goddamn right. My number 4, I gotta grab some sunglasses and run. Tom Cruise is my number 4. Tom Cruise is Tom Cruise. I love every movie that Tom Cruise has been in. I mean, starting all the way back with Top Gun, Risky Business, the Mission Impossible movies. I mean, the guy... Also, Minority Report. So many movies, again, that Tom Cruise has been in. Also, Collateral. The very first movie that I've seen him as a villain. Collateral is probably my favorite performance of his. Or second. Collateral, phenomenal movie. The guy plays a hero extremely well. And yeah, he was in The Mummy last year. Oh, sorry, The Mummy this year. And Jack Reacher, Never Go Back. Yeah. He's been in some stinkers, but Tom Cruise is mostly in great films. And Tom Cruise, again, he commits himself 100% to the action sequences extremely well. And some people don't credit him as an actor. If you want to see him give a great acted performance, watch Born on the 4th of July. That's his greatest acted performance ever. Watch that film. He's incredible acting-wise. And action-wise, I just love watching him do stunt work. The man... can do anything, and Tom Cruise is my number 4.
Yeah, no, Tom Cruise, fantastic actor. I mean, fantastic actor. Born on the 4th of July is probably one of his best performances, but don't forget about American Made this year. American Made might be creeping on up there, and then same with Collateral. Collateral was the first movie that I saw of him where I loved seeing him do his action stuff, but Collateral was the first film I ever saw in him, and I went, wow, this guy is an awesome actor. And before that, I was just looking at him as his action from Mission Impossible and whatnot. But then that movie stuck. Then I went and checked out Valkyrie. And Valkyrie's a fantastic movie with his performance as well. But really just, I love Tom Cruise. He's a great actor. He might have starred in The Mummy, which wasn't the best. But at least he is in it and he's good in it as well. So at least when he's in these crappy movies, he's at least still the best part of those films. So the big 3, here we are. My number 3 is Leonardo DiCaprio. So, this was any other year. I mean, a couple years ago, I probably would have put him at number 1, but there's some other actors that I'm absolutely loving. But Leonardo DiCaprio, he's in my favorite movie of all time, which is Wolf of Wall Street, and The guy can't do anything wrong. He goes to such lengths. And to me, his best performance is Wolf of Wall Street. The energetic, the charisma he brought to that role of the scumbag that you shouldn't be cheering on, but you do. And then you look at The Revenant from last year, which really just a tough performance to pull off, and just everything he does, to the bruises, to the scars, because I was actually looking up, and the guy, like, he legit has scars and bruises now that are forever on him because of that movie, because of what he went to for lengths to that. And I mean, the guy is an Oscar darling. He finally got his Oscar last year. He deserved that Oscar from last year, and really just, I love DiCaprio for everything he does. You look at Blood Diamond, Catch Me If You Can, which Catch Me If You Can is a fantastic film. I keep mentioning it. Go check it out if you haven't. But Leonardo DiCaprio, he's one of the best actors working today, and absolutely when he teams up with any of these directors, especially Scorsese, you know it's going to be gold.
Leo's just a tad bit higher on my list, but really good pick, man. My number 3 is Jake Gyllenhaal. Let's talk about Jake Gyllenhaal real quick. You mentioned Christian Bale being a transformative actor. This guy is the transformative actor right here. Starting off with Nightcrawler. The dude was about 100-something pounds, and just given a transformative performance. As Lou Bloom, I mean, the dude lost so much weight, and then he got buff as hell for Southpaw. I mean, incredible. And then he went back to his normal size and all that in other films. I mean, this guy transforms left to right, skinny to built. And Jake Gyllenhaal's a phenomenal actor. After Stronger this year, he's in my top 3. And he should be nominated for an Oscar for Stronger. He's fantastic in that film. I mean, I was just pissed off to hell when he wasn't nominated for Nightcrawler, because that's his greatest performance ever. Nothing will top Nightcrawler in my opinion. But then also Prisoners, Denis Villeneuve's film. He plays fantastic in Prisoners, and Enemy, and Nocturnal Animals. Go see Nocturnal Animals. He's incredible in that film.
Jake Gyllenhaal is higher up on my list, so I'll save everything I'm going to say about him in a little bit. But I love Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yes, for sure. So, Zach, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy, the first time I ever saw him was in a small role in a movie in a Guy Ritchie film, Rock'n'Rolla. And I didn't know what to think of the dude. Then he pops up in Inception. Then he pops up in The Dark Knight series. And, I mean, the guy plays Bane, gained a ton of muscle. Then ever since then, I've seen him in these smaller films like Locke or Legend, where these films aren't the best, and I feel like without him these films would have totally just not been good. But the performances he gives in these roles, I mean, Legend, he plays 2 different people, and Legend wasn't the best movie, but the guy gave such a great performance playing 2 twins. Tom Hardy is one of those actors that I absolutely have to see him whatever he's in. The Revenant, he was fantastic in, and just absolutely, if he's in a movie, I have to go and check it out that day. It doesn't matter. If it's a movie that's not even that good, I'll still buy it just for the fact that Tom Hardy is fantastic in whatever he's gonna be in. And Mad Max Fury Road, I mean, the guy played Max, and he over-accomplished. He did more, in my opinion, than Mel Gibson ever did with the role, which that might be controversial, but I absolutely love Tom Hardy. I want to see what he does next. I can't wait to see what he does next. And really, the guy, I'm surprised he's only been nominated once for an Oscar, because the guy deserves more Oscar love, more nomination love, because he's one of the best actors, again, working today. He transforms.
I totally agree with everything you said, for sure. My number 2 is, you mentioned this guy, Leonardo DiCaprio. He's my number 2. I mean, everything you just said about Leo. Leo has been one of the greatest actors of all time. Just Leo, ever since I saw him in Titanic as a kid, I grew a connection with the guy. I understood him. And also, you mentioned The Wolf of Wall Street. The Departed is one of my favorite movies of all time. He's fantastic in that. And also, The Revenant, finally winning his very first Oscar. He definitely deserved it. He should have won for every Oscar he was nominated for, to be completely honest. Leonardo DiCaprio, he's just phenomenal, and I am there whatever movie he sees, for sure.
Dude, totally agree. I said everything I love about Leo, and everything you added on to there is even much better.
Awesome. Now let's talk about our number 1s. Zach, what's your number 1, man?
You said him earlier, it's Jake Gyllenhaal. I love Jake Gyllenhaal. I am so engrossed with this guy. Like you said, he transforms. Like, literally, he could be in the Transformers movie and transform into a Transformer, and I would believe it, because the guy does it. Nightcrawler is still my favorite performance he's given. He should have won that year. He got snubbed even with a nomination. I'm still pissed to all hell that he didn't. Samuel Jackson should go in there and say motherfucker to all those Oscar noms, because he should have won that year. Nightcrawler was fantastic. That's still his best performance. But then, like you said, Southpaw. He goes to Southpaw. And Southpaw, he broke my heart in there, giving such a fantastic performance, then bounces back to Stronger this year, which if he doesn't get nominated this year, the Oscars must hate him or something, because the guy deserves it. Like, Stronger this year, he has some scenes in there which are so emotional and make me tear up. The guy does no wrong. Donnie Darko, Prisoners, and then Enemy. Enemy is one of those films that I love analyzing. And analyzing his performance in there is such a subtle performance, but one of the best that I've ever seen in my whole life. I love Jake Gyllenhaal. He is one of those actors. If a movie comes out, it's day one. I don't care if Star Wars comes out. If Star Wars and Jake Gyllenhaal's next movie came out, I would probably choose Jake Gyllenhaal. That is saying a ton. I am going to defend that. I love Star Wars. If you watch my channel, I love Star Wars, but Jake Gyllenhaal is one of the best actors working today.
I can't blame you. He's incredible. Now let's talk about my one. This guy has always been my favorite actor of all time. I just love this guy. My number one is Hugh Jackman.
Great choice.
Hugh Jackman's my number one. Phenomenal actor. Let's start with Wolverine. This year in Logan solidified that Hugh Jackman, I think, is the greatest actor of all time. The man acts incredibly well. Every time I see him go on a Wolverine rage, it breaks my heart. I mean, just seeing the scenes in Logan and seeing him go through all those emotional moments in the film made me tear up. And it's because of Hugh Jackman's performance in that. And also, you gotta talk about Prisoners. I was pissed off beyond belief that he didn't get nominated for Best Actor, because he gave the best performance of that year in Denis Villeneuve's Prisoners. The guy is just incredible. And so many other films too. You got The Prestige with Christopher Nolan. Just fantastic in all of those films. And Hugh Jackman, again, he's a phenomenal actor. More people should definitely see his other work instead of Wolverine. And the guy I will see any film with Hugh Jackman's name on it, because Hugh Jackman's my favorite actor of all time.
And you have a right to put him at number one. Hugh Jackman is one of the best actors working this year. If he doesn't get nominated for Logan this year, or any award for this, because he deserves it, this is hands down. Logan, for me, is his best performance the guy's done. And he broke my heart in there. He brought such emotion to a comic book film, which we'd never seen before. And I mean, same with Patrick Stewart, but this is Hugh Jackman we're talking about. Hugh Jackman embodied. He is the one comic book character that I honestly don't think you can replace or even change without anyone comparing him to. And it's going to be hard when, you know, later down in the future, Fox is going to want to change it. But you're totally right. You have to check out his other work. Yeah, I mean, The Prestige, you mentioned it. Prestige is one of his other best. Les Mis, one of the first musicals, because I'm not a big fan of musicals. Les Mis, a guy fantastic in there as well. I mean, Les Mis is a long film. It's a musical. Not a lot of people are in musicals, but Hugh Jackman made me want to watch the film, and I actually found myself enjoying that film. I love Hugh Jackman. I can't wait to see what he does this year. And he has another musical coming out this year, too, and I can't wait to see what he does with that.
Oh, yes, for sure. Absolutely. And there you have it, guys. That was me and Zach Pope's top 10 favorite actors of all time. Zach, thank you for joining me for this list and making this sacrifice, leaving out some names. I know we left out a lot of huge names. Let us know, guys, who your favorite actors of all time are. Let us know your picks down below in the comments. Zach, thanks again for joining me. And now, Zach, tell my fans where we can find you on all your social media.
So, of course, on my social media, you can find me at Twitter at Pope the King, Pope the King, just like that. Yes, my last name is Pope. And then, of course, you have me on YouTube as well at Zach Pope. You got me on there. I do the same thing, like I said, reviews, trailer reactions, whatever you name it. I do the same thing Ryan does. Ryan, thank you so much for having me on here. It was great talking to you one-on-one doing this, and thank you again also for having me on Rotten or Fresh. If you guys haven't watched Rotten or Fresh yet, go watch Rotten or Fresh. Literally one of the most entertaining things on YouTube right now.
Thank you so much, man. Yes, Zach Pope will be competing in the championship match in December, so look out for that. And thank you guys, as always, for watching this video. And as always, if you liked it, give it a thumbs up. And be sure to subscribe today if you haven't yet already, and go subscribe to Zach Pope. He has a fantastic channel. Go check him out. Give him some love. And as always, all my social media links are in the description down below, as well as links to my Patreon and Snapchat. Click that notification bell on your way out, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!